Now, I know a big fear that you can have is coming out of your draft and having your entire season ruined because you drafted the wrong tight end. If you want to make sure that you get your stud tight end, then this video's for you. Let's get it. Now, the first tight end we're going to talk about is Darren Waller. Darren Waller plays for the Raiders, and I know they got Davante Adams over here this offseason, which is going to take over a lot of the targets. But people seem to forget how good Darren Waller actually is, especially when he's the only target on the field. We're looking at a lot of targets and a lot of production. But with Davante Adams, I think that might actually help Darren Waller take a lot of pressure off of him. I mean, he missed a lot of games last season due to injury. He actually missed 6 games, and he still almost had 700 yards receiving. This guy is nasty with the football. He's fast. He has good hands. He's somebody that can be reliable. You got Davante Adams on one side, Hunter Renfrow on the other side, Darren Waller up the middle. He's hard to cover for these linebackers. A lot of times these linebackers don't have the speed to keep up with Darren Waller. Derek Carr has the confidence in Darren Waller, and he could definitely be a high touted tight end for your fantasy team, and definitely a stud. A lot of people may be going for the Travis Kelce's and the Mark Andrews, but I think Darren Waller might be on top of my board just based on what he can give you in this season. Now, the next stud tight end we're going to talk about is somebody I have been touting all off season long, and I'm still touting him as a top 5 tight end this season, and that's Zach Ertz. Zach Ertz came over from the Philadelphia Eagles and went over to the Arizona Cardinals, and ever since he was in the Cardinals, Kyler Murray was kind of hyper targeting this guy. I mean, if you're getting 5, 6, 7 targets a game, that's huge. That's a good baseline for a tight end. And anybody who knows anything about fantasy football is you don't have to be amazing at the tight end spot to even be a top 10 tight end in the league. I think he's going to get enough receptions. I think he's going to get enough volume. I think he's going to get enough touchdowns this season to be a top 5 tight end for your fantasy team. You can get Zach Ertz later in the draft. He's not going anywhere towards the top, and I think he's going to beat out all these other names that you're seeing, you know, the Tyler Higbees, the Dawson Knox, stuff like that. He's going to be able to beat out those guys, and he's going to be drafted way late. So if you want to punt tight end and still land a stud for your fantasy team, make sure you look at that Zach Ertz, because he can really produce for your fantasy team in 2022. Now, the third tight end we're going to talk about is George Kittle. George Kittle is one of those who is very scary, right? So you know what he can do. He can give you those boom weeks that are like, oh my gosh, they're game-winning weeks. I'm talking 30+ fantasy points at the tight end spot, because when he's on, he's on. The problem is his injuries. You never know when he's going to play, how long he's going to play. We don't know, but George Kittle's an absolute stud. I do like him this season because we have Jimmy Garoppolo is not going to be the quarterback. They're moving on to Trey Lance, and Trey Lance, as a not really a rookie, he's a sophomore, but he's kind of a rookie because he only played in a couple games last season. But he's going to be looking at the tight end early and often. Yes, we do have Brandon Ayuk, and we do have Deebo Samuel out at the wide receiver spots, but early quarterbacks like looking at the tight ends, and that means George Kittle season. George Kittle over the seam. He's a nice, fast receiver, big body receiver. He loves running over people. He's fun to watch. Draft George Kittle and be confident that you drafted a stud tight end. As always, thank you for watching the video. If you haven't hit the subscribe button, consider hitting that subscribe button. Would really help me out. Guys, we're putting out videos every single week going up into our fantasy football drafts. I'm going to try to help you dominate your fantasy football draft and dominate your fantasy football season so we can ultimately come home with a Lombardi trophy. Can't wait to see you guys on the next video. We'll see you guys next time.